Hello, and welcome to the Columbus Foundation. My name is Miles Balfour, and I'm an artist and a student at CCAD, while also working full-time. I'm a proud recipient of one of the Columbus Foundation's many funds provided through scholarships. This one set in the name of the honor of the legendary jazz musician and Columbus native, Rahsaan Roland Kurt. What an honor that is, as Rahsaan was renowned for his onstage presence, his improvisation, his sense of humor, and just as importantly, his social commentary. Even through his ability to playing multiple instruments at the same time, he was able to convey multiple messages and meaning behind his work. He was a creative force for good. That is similar to one of my goals, to be a creative force just as well as he was. I have done a number of projects with the Columbus Foundation, from last year's Big Table original artwork to its 75th anniversary project, partnered with the Columbus Metropolitan Library System, the Big Book. This book contains the dreams and visions of diverse youth throughout this community. Dreams that for many are at risk now. I am opening this event because the foundation joins me in wanting to ensure that everyone viewing this realizes that, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I know that, and I'm doing the best that I can. The folks at the Columbus Foundation know that and are doing what they can. This is why I'm proud to stand before you and introduce to you my friend, my mentor, the president and CEO of the Columbus Foundation, Doug Kridler.
Thanks, Miles. You are already on your way to being a creative force, and we are proud of you. Welcome to this year's Celebration of Philanthropy. There is anxiousness, anger, division, and economic hardship wherever you look. But there are great and noble works happening all around us in our community. So instead of going through the usual reports on the Columbus Foundation that we do in this program each year, we're going to keep it simple. And this year's celebration will just be about our two very special award winners, with an announcement at the end. Normally, we would be in a room together, in person, sharing time, space, and the appreciation for the contributions of others to our community. Well, that is not possible. So we set up shop right here in the middle of our garden, a backyard celebration this year, which means a couple of things. First, you will notice traffic noise now and throughout the program. That traffic noise is coming from what we today call Broad Street, but what 200 years ago was called the National Road, the construction of which was conceived of by George Washington and authorized by Thomas Jefferson in 1803, and which reached Columbus in 1833. It was the primary route for immigrants and was considered an engineering marvel. And when completed, it stretched from Cumberland, Maryland to the Mississippi and was called the Main Street of America and the People's Highway. Long before there was a national road, the people who were here and who traveled through these lands were numerous Native American cultures. American Indians played such an important role in shaping the history of Ohio, which served as a leading center of trading and commerce. The Paleo Indians are believed to have lived in Ohio from 13,000 to 7,000 BC, settling first just as the glaciers retreated. The Archaic people lived in Ohio from 8,000 to 500 BC, and they were followed by the Adena, then the Hopewell cultures, known as the Mound Builders. And that just takes us to 500 AD. So fast forward to the 20th and now the 21st centuries, and we find ourselves here, part of a neighborhood with a proud history and proud neighbors. I would like to introduce the leader of PACT, which does extraordinary work in this neighborhood, Autumn Glover, for her welcome.
Welcome to the Near East Side, a neighborhood of great neighbors and many pride points, ranging from the historic two-sport state champion Tigers of East High School to the extraordinary artistry and storytelling of our neighborhood's people and culture by our beloved Amina Robinson, to today's healthcare provided by Ohio State East Hospital, to the inspiration offered by our cultural facilities at the Lincoln Theater and the King Arts Complex, and the Martin Luther King Jr. branch of the Columbus Metropolitan Library, and great small businesses and residents and schools throughout. I am proud to support this great neighborhood through my role as president of PACT, a partnership founded by The Ohio State University, City of Columbus, CMHA, and Near East Side stakeholders. I offer you my welcome and best wishes during these difficult times, and am proud to introduce Columbus Foundation Governing Committee member Clark Kellogg to present the Columbus Foundation Award.
The Columbus Foundation Award is given to organizations that have made a difference in our community and to the individuals who have shaped those organizations. With a mission to unleash the power of human potential through every act of human service, this year's winning organization and its leader strive to develop a compelling and powerful voice for the human service system by promoting, enhancing, and advocating for human service organizations and the clients they serve in Central Ohio. The winner of the Columbus Foundation Award in this most memorable and unique year of 2020 is the Human Service Chamber of Franklin County and its leader, Michael Corey. Established in 2010, HSC was conceived by local leaders who realized that the human service sector needed to form an entity that would represent the sector as a whole among public officials and key stakeholders, facilitate collaborations to address complex, systemic issues, provide useful professional learning opportunities, and achieve economies of scale through shared services and pooled resources. Under the current leadership of Michael Corey, HSC has seen tremendous membership growth from 50 to 90 members and is still growing. With close ties to governmental programs, HSC has helped to facilitate stronger collaboration and growth in the human service sector. Michael and HSC has become a go-to partner and resource to leaders and doers across this community. During the COVID-19 pandemic, HSC has been instrumental in helping human service organizations and our community adapt, protect their clients and staffs alike, and meet the needs of vulnerable community members. From communicating with appointed and elected officials about COVID funding and shaping the public funding response, to helping find and disseminate needed PPE and educating people about the Payroll Protection Program, loans, grants, and other efforts to stabilize operations, HSC has been on the front lines of this pandemic response since the beginning in so many impressive ways. So it is my pleasure on behalf of our foundation staff and governing committee leadership to present this $25,000 check to the Human Service Foundation in recognition of the great work and passionate leadership of the Human Service Chamber of Franklin County.
Mr. Kellogg, Mr. Kridler, Mr. Sharp, Dr. Acton, and everyone at the Columbus Foundation, thank you so much on behalf of all of us at the Human Service Chamber, our board, our members, the 13,000 people they employ, and the hundreds of thousands of people that they serve in our community. This recognition means so very much. There is obviously so much work yet to do, and yet we believe this recognition underscores the wonderful work that our member organizations have done and the work we've tried to do to help the helpers in our community at this very difficult time for our country. Of course, the work was imperative before March of 2020, ensuring people had access to nutritious food, had access to equitable health care, combating racism, ensuring that there were roofs over the heads of the people in our community. There was access to education and legal services and immigration services and on and on. But that work got so much more difficult and so much more imperative when the world changed in March and has continued changing ever since. We are extremely grateful to the Columbus Foundation, who has made so much of our work these past 6 months possible, from providing 13,000 bottles of hand sanitizer and thousands of KN95 masks and so much more. The Columbus Foundation has been an incredible partner to the sector, and we look forward to working with you hand in hand through whatever may come next.
Hello, my name is Dwight Smith, and I'm proud to be the Governing Committee Chair. Thank you very much for being with us today. I have the honor of presenting the Harrison M. Sayre Award. This award is given in honor of the founder, executive director, and volunteer for more than 25 years, and it recognizes philanthropy in Central Ohio. As Mr. Sayre once stated, the best way to extend your life is to give to your community. It is my honor to announce to you the winner of the Harrison Sayre Award in this significant year in our community's, nation's, and world's history, a person of high distinction and someone who loves and gives to all people, the one and only Miss Catherine Willis. A longtime educator and advocate for enriching the lives of children through education, recreation, and the arts, Catherine Willis's love for our community resonates through her service to it. As author and Columbus native Will Haygood wrote to us last week about Catherine, Catherine represents the best in all of us. As a Columbus City Schools kindergarten teacher, Miss Willis dedicated her career to instilling love and knowledge and the joy of learning to children. Nearly 50 years ago, she founded FACE, the Friends of Art for Community Enrichment, to introduce children to the culture of Africa and African Americans. Among its activities, FACE has presented local, regional, and national artists' works, encourages participation in intergenerational activities, and furthers the understanding of the African American culture through artistic portrayals of community experiences. Since 1987, Miss Willis served as a member of the Helen Jenkins Davis Scholarship Lunch Bunch, which awards scholarships to African American students graduating from Columbus City Schools who demonstrate high academic achievement and ethical standards. Miss Willis and her colleagues developed the fund to recognize Helen Jenkins Davis, who led the desegregation of Columbus City Schools and committed her professional life as an educator to mentoring and motivating underprivileged and at-risk Black students. Miss Jenkins Davis was later inducted into the Columbus Hall of Fame. More than 3 decades later after its founding, this organization has awarded more than $120,000 to hundreds of students. Mrs. Willis's commitment to young people in our community is further seen through her 30 years of service on the board of the Columbus Youth Foundation. This is the first supporting foundation here at the Columbus Foundation. This foundation serves the life of inner-city youth by providing healthy, positive opportunities to learn life's lessons through recreation and sports. In her so-called retirement, Miss Willis continues to advocate for children through her volunteer work. In 2007, she founded Urban Strings, an organization dedicated to supporting underserved minority youth playing strings instruments. And if you haven't heard or seen them, I'd encourage you to do so. They are fantastic. Since its founding, the group has grown from just a few young people to more than 50. In 2019, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra recognized the success of the organization and Miss Willis's role in it by awarding her its Music Educator Award. And I could go on, from her dedication and work with the beloved people at St. Philip Lutheran Church to her activities as a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and her strength and courage and conviction to work on issues of the utmost concern to our community, those of racial equality and the arts and opportunities for all. But if you would indulge me for a minute, I'd like to share my personal appreciation for Catherine and her close friends Gertie Tyree and others who took under their arms and into their hearts a young know-it-all student from Ohio State University in 1976 who appeared at St. Philip one Sunday morning for worship. It was that care, loving, and kindness and pouring into that young student that helped him to mature to be a better person today. I know that because that student was me. I could not be more appreciative of the personal benefit and relationship that I've been honored to have and the love from Catherine Willis over the many years. Thank you, Catherine, from the bottom of my heart. Mrs. Willis's extensive service to the community leaves little doubt of her commitment to the betterment of our community and to young people here in Central Ohio. She exemplifies the spirit of and truly is deserving of the Harrison M. Sayre Award. In accepting this award, Catherine expands and deepens the definition of philanthropy defined by the honor in this award to honor grassroots not just grass-top philanthropy leadership and contributions to our community. With this award comes a $25,000 grant to the nonprofit of her choice, plus this amazing glass sculpture commissioned for the Harrison Sayre Award winners. Catherine Willis, in this year to remember, congratulations on being the winner of the Harrison Sayre Award, and thank you indeed for being the best among us in so many ways, for your selflessness and your courage over the years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight, Doug, and the Columbus Foundation. This award was a unique surprise to me because I had a personal connection to Harrison Sayre. In my other life, I was a kindergarten teacher at Trevitt Elementary School, which is in the Sawyer Housing Project community. For several years before I retired, one of my committed volunteers was Dixie Miller, who was an affluent white woman that lived in Bexley and came physically into the urban Black community to make a difference. Dixie was patient, compassionate, very generous, and committed to help the children academically and socially get ready for first grade. Dixie Miller was also the daughter of Harrison Sayre, for whom this award is named. As I reflected on what I knew about Harrison Sayre, he too was patient, compassionate, generous, and committed to helping his community as the founder of the Columbus Foundation. I accept this award in his memory, and I share this award with all of you, my family, my friends, and those of you who provided funding, prayers, and participation in those things I am passionate about. Thank you all for being the wind beneath my wings.
We are so thankful for Catherine and Michael in the Human Service Chamber. Congratulations to you. As Will Haygood said about you, you represent the best among us. Years ago, the year 2020 was looked forward to be a target year to set goals for and a year to build towards. And it made sense. 2020 just plain sounds opportunistic because it is the proxy for the best of eyesight and vision. And lo and behold, it has lived up to its potential. We can see more clearly now. The only problem is what we see is a pandemic that has laid bare once again the social determinants of health, and that the poor and people of color are once again suffering from the effects of multi-generational poverty. The only problem is what we see are the ways in which structural racism causes suffering and death of those who are our brothers and sisters in the human race. The only problem is, what we see is that online learning isn't possible if you can't get online, thereby setting a generation of kids, our kids, behind, maybe forever. The only problem is, what we see are workers deemed essential face the highest health risk at work and in their homes as they help us survive the pandemic. The only problem is, what we see is that without access to childcare, many women cannot return to work, and they are forced to choose between their children and their jobs. The only problem is, what we see are people about to be evicted in vastly increasing numbers as they face job loss and economic hardship. These are enormous challenges that have to be faced and fixed. Fortunately, we are seeing the will to do something about these challenges being built across races, places, and incomes. None of this will be easy or quick. So it is going to take keeping stitched together as we take on these challenges. Which brings me to this. The Columbus Foundation has a role to play in getting to that better day, and we will. Today, we are announcing unprecedented investments in 4 key strategic areas over the next year and a half. We are digging deep into reserves and going beyond our normal grant amounts and investment allocations. We are stepping up higher than ever before in our history, given the times we are in. So those focus areas are, first, expanding further the Emergency Response Fund and extending our funding commitment to it through 2021. The effects of the pandemic are far from over, and we must maintain a sense of urgency of helping the helpers who are helping people get through this. 2, we are doubling our commitment to $1 million to help bridge the digital divide and extending this funding through 2021. This is an area where racial inequity is so starkly obvious, and we are proud to be helping to lead our community to solutions so that every child has the opportunity to continue their learning and not fall behind. 3, we are significantly expanding our commitment to the arts over this next year so that we do not lose the precious arts infrastructure in our community as artists and arts organizations suffer the effects of having to shut down during the pandemic. More to come on this after the first of the year. And finally, we will be investing $5 million through our partner organizations over the next 2 years in businesses and organizations led and owned by members of our Black community and other entrepreneurs of color. We will work closely with our partners in the Forward Cities effort, One Columbus, the Columbus Urban League, the county and the city, as well as others hard at work in this area, to align our efforts strategically for maximum benefit to the effort to achieve racial equity in Columbus. This is in addition to our $5 million commitment currently being put to work to expand affordable housing in Columbus. In addition to these funding announcements, we want you to know that we are committed to building out our work in increasing social well-being of all by establishing a world-class effort that puts kindness, empathy, belonging, and human-centered design at the forefront of working on the betterment of our community for all. More, much more, to come on that front as well over the coming year. We can do this, Columbus. We know the Columbus Foundation has an important role to play, but it too is limited. The enormous heart and resourcefulness of our nonprofit partners, public sector leaders, and business leaders, and community voices of conscience all have huge roles to play. And we honor, embrace, and thank them for their commitment to a better day. We couldn't do our part without our donor family and the leading advisors in the legal and financial worlds. So we thank you for your contributions to putting into place this place of resource and opportunity for all. So Miles opened our program with Dr. King's quote, that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Well, by way of providing bookends to this program, I would like to close with a quote from last week from Dr. Kendi. Let us pave the roads to a just and equitable world with love, trust, courage, and humility, knowing the little ones are studying us, are walking with us at our side. So whether walking or running, we are all part of one race, the human race. So let's win together, Columbus. Thank you for joining us. Our best wishes to you all.